Elizabeth Warren, right? So Elizabeth Warren versus Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is obviously nominated by Trump, and he had to go before the Senate, and they were sparring whatever. And this is one of the highlight moments. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it, but this is one of the highlight moments.
For your service. So if you're confirmed as Secretary of Defense, you will oversee our military, including about 250,000 women who currently serve on active duty in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Forces, and the Marines. And I have serious concerns that your behavior toward women disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions. So we'll just have to do it here and dive in. I want to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senators Shaheen and Gillibrand and Hirono. And I just want to make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 40.
She goes on to talk about it, so on and so forth. And then a little later on, this was the exchange between them.
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because it's not
about it right now.
It's not one. My motivation for this job.
I understand that. I just need a yes or no here.
Come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be at the Defense Department.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one.
So they had a little testy exchange, so on and so forth, but she was basically trying to hold him accountable for, I guess, diminishing the value that women add, because he said that women should be in combat and that the standards have been lowered for our military in order to accommodate women. The question that I have for you guys is, do you believe that women should be in combat in the military? Anybody can jump in and go into it. Go ahead, Slim.
Hell no. No. No, no, no.
Tell me why.
I just don't. Like, you going up against men. They're going to pit you up against men. So, like, it's going to be a possibility that you're not going to be able to hold your own if you get in a certain scenario where you might have to, somebody else's life might depend on you fending off a man, and that ain't going to work. Then it's going to be two people down. I just don't like that. I don't like that. And I definitely agree with him about moms. Moms shouldn't, like, stay your ass at home. Definitely shouldn't be in no motherfucking military. What are we doing? You should be taking care of kids. Like, I don't agree with none of that shit, man. Like, I don't think women should be in the military, honestly.
At all?
Should be in there at all. No, it's not. It's for men. It's for men. Like, I get it. It's groups of women that was overseas, that they were the warrior queens. That's good for them. We are now in a whole totally different type of society where we don't have to have that. Women shouldn't have to go to war. That's the one thing where I just don't agree with. Women shouldn't have to go to war. Let it be the men. Let it be the men fighting these battles. Shit, I don't even fucking believe in war, for real, for real. Don't do that shit unless you have to.
You don't believe in war, Slimmy?
No, not really. You just, I mean, at the end of the day, what you fighting for? You ain't never fighting for nobody's safety. You fighting over somebody's greed at the end of the day.
war in general is what I'm saying.
Yeah, war in general is usually about greed.
Okay.
9 times out of 10, it's gonna be about greed. Somebody being too greedy, somebody doing too much, and somebody trying to check them. You know what I'm saying? That's usually all it is. I mean, even the wars, inter country wars, that's usually about greed. That's all that shit is. Every once in a while, it's a difference in culture. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I believe like I can't think of the war that I was. It was some African country. I was thinking about. I'm not gonna try and recount that though. But like, yeah, 9 times out of 10, man, I'm not fucking with no war. I don't like that shit. And I don't think women should participate. That's just me though. You know what I'm saying? Keep women out the military.
Carrie, what are your thoughts? Carrie, we can't
Oh,
hear you.
Carrie, no, we can't hear you. What the
Oh.
hell?
Oh,
It was just working.
So while Carrie is gathering herself and getting that together, Molly or Quinn, either one of y'all more than welcome to be able to join in.
Excuse me.
Quentin, you don't want to go?
I didn't want you to cut me off, so I was gonna let you go first.
Jesus Christ.
I agree with Slimmy. I mean, obviously, I'm not into the whole feminism thing. If women are going to be in combat, I think maybe we could be nurses or medics. But as far as fighting, I don't think that's our place. There's so many other things we could be doing. If you have children, why would
Slimmy
you want
said
to go
that
into
women
combat?
shouldn't be in the military at all. What do you think about that?
I think they could do like administrative roles. I'm a military baby. Both of my parents are in the military, so.
Really? I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't
But
know
I
that.
don't think that we should be in combat. No, and then especially like when you have all those wars overseas in the Middle East and stuff like that, it's so heavily male dominated. And it does lower the bar. I think it lowers
Do
the bar. I
y'all
think it
hear
makes us
that?
look weaker.
What
I
is
don't
Okay,
know
that?
that's not
how
me.
why
I
we have
hear
like
that.
women Marines.
Hold on, okay, hold on 1 second. Let me
I'm,
just double check something. Give me a second.
I can't
That's
hear
Oh,
crazy.
anything.
hold on, let me mute everybody. Go ahead, keep talking.
Is it my connection? Can anybody hear me?
Okay, so all right.
Okay, I can't hear y'all. Hold on.
All right, hold on. All right, go ahead and talk. Anyways, go ahead. I mean, we'll figure it out. I think that was her
Molly's
connection.
connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't. I don't see. Oh yeah, go let Carrie go. Her mic back.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I was just saying, I think that the standard shouldn't be lowered. So, whatever qualifies a person to be able to go into combat,
Mhm.
if you're a woman and you meet the standard, then good for you. But if not, then no. I mean, from a personal perspective, I wouldn't want to go in myself, but there are women who want to. And if they can measure up, then go for it.
So, what about the benefits? The women would lose all of the benefits that they would get from a military, the TSP, um, the free schooling, the no property taxes in certain places if you serve for a certain amount of time, all of those things. Women wouldn't be able to get all of those military benefits that a lot of people get as a result of serving, which is one of the reasons why women then get into the military sometimes. What do you think about that?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Well, I said I think that if they qualify, they should be able to go. So they would get those benefits. But you're saying, what do I think if they change it and they now can't get the benefits? Like what
Well,
do you
yeah,
ask?
because if they don't qualify, but then at the same time we have things that's basically put in place to say,
Oh,
equal,
okay.
because they
Then
won't
you
be able to meet certain qualifications as far as what the standards are to be in certain places, right?
right, but if a man tried to qualify and he didn't, he wouldn't get those benefits either, right?
That's
So
true.
it's equal, it's fair. Whoever qualifies gets those benefits.
Okay.
Y'all,
I'm with
y'all can still hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you,
I'm
great.
gonna keep checking.
What's going on, Quentin? What's your thoughts on this whole situation?
No, I don't think they should engage in combat. I do
Why is
think
that?
there's room for them in the military, just not on the front lines. I think both men and women, when in distress, they like revert back to like their nature. So a dude's gonna be inclined to save a woman when he probably shouldn't in the heat of battle. And I think a woman's probably gonna look towards a man to do something that she should probably be able to do herself in the heat of battle.
What about the culture of the military, right? Because one thing that I hear a lot of times from people is that women are oftentimes a distraction on base. Um, and that it's a lot of messiness that comes along with being in the military when women are on base. What about that part? Forget the combat part. What about them being a distraction of men? Because that was a part of the conversation that they were also having as a part of the Senate hearing.
It's I would think it's like a normal workforce. Like it's just you work for the government and not and not for a private entity. It looks the same. Like the day to day, it looks the same. I don't think it screws anything else up. It's actually harder. You call a chick a bitch, like in the military, they go you're canned. They're out of there. Like women are protected hardcore in the military for the most part.
But isn't that a bad thing though?
No,
You don't think so? Because I mean,
I
in
don't.
my opinion, and I could be wrong, the military a lot of times is kind of like, it's tough guys. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of business, being on top of it, whatever you want to,
It used to be
talk
tough
shit and
guys
all of that.
when they have the don't ask, don't tell policy, then it was fine. But now that they just openly let gay niggas in the military, it ain't that no more.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think that women getting into the military and all of the standards changing because of it, and now men can't be men, that devalues what we're putting out on the field, or it devalues the culture that people have or experience on base?
No, I think base is fine. I think like actually in the battlefield, fighting it's the only place they don't belong. I think that there's a role for women on the base, as Molly said, doing administrative things like work stuff. Hell, they can be drone pilots. They just don't need to be fighting nobody.
Mm.
No, I
It's
think
just a normal, like it's just a normal workforce. You got to respect women.
no, I think your militia should be more like a machine. So in order for it to be a machine, you got to have all the cogs moving in proper place.
Mhm.
So you start throwing weaker cogs in there, now you start to get problems. I ain't even get into the sexual aspect because from what I hear, and I know a lot of people in the military, that shit is a cesspool.
That's
You
what I
know,
heard. That's what I'm saying. That's a part of
yeah,
the culture that's on base, right?
it's bad sexual culture
Just for the sake of
in the
speaking
military.
correctly, we're talking about the military, not a militia.
You know what I meant. But either way,
Just say it.
either way,
Yeah, but that part could still be present even if the women are not going to combat. Like they're on the
Yeah.
base.
that's what
See,
I'm
So
that's
talking
what
about.
I'm saying though. Should women be on the base with men
No,
inside the military?
they definitely shouldn't be on the back. I don't think they should be in the military, period.
yeah,
So
I don't know how
that's my
they
whole point.
I don't know how they handle that part because yeah, when I was at Hampton, we're right near a bunch of military bases. There were quite a bit of stories about stuff that happened with women. I don't know how you fix that part.
I've coached guys, right? And the treatment and not just from the women that are in the military, but even women that the way that they've changed to accommodate women that get pregnant by guys that's in the military or military wives and stuff like that is crazy. It's insane. I didn't know, but I found out through coaching a lot of different guys that was going through issues with a wife that they was divorcing or baby mama that they was dealing with that's in and they was in the military, that she was, for example, able to call and tell on him that he was doing stuff to her and it wasn't true, but making accusations about him that then jeopardized his military career. But she was able to call his superior and report him and stuff like that. And it was so many different things that changed, and all of these different things that was happening. This is one of the reasons why I find it compelling to be able to have this conversation, because I've seen a lot of things happening to guys that were in the military, their military career, and all of this stuff. It was guys that had to take care of kids that wasn't theirs because she wound up getting pregnant by another guy that was on base with her, and all of this stuff, right? And so that's what I'm saying, is that it jeopardizes the culture, in my opinion, that's on base or from members of our military, because they can't focus on the things that's actually supposed to be important. But more importantly, it seems as though when you insert women into certain cultures, is not necessarily conducive for the guys that's supposed to be taking care of business. I would even go so far as, let's remove it from the military. When I went to when my father sent me to private school, when I was, me and my brother to private school, when we were in middle school, our behaviors changed drastically because we were because I went to an all boys school. And so you had Mercy, which was the girls' school, and then you had Jesuit, which was the boys' school. And so we was two separate campuses, separated from each other, all of that. We were not distracted. We was focused. We was on top of stuff. Our grades improved. Everything was on top of it. When you remove the women, when you remove girls from the equation, from girls from guys and guys from girls, we were focused. We were super focused. And we didn't get unfocused until after we went home and we started getting back with the chicks, or we would go to their parties. But when we were in school, we didn't get distracted at all. And at first I was apprehensive about it, like, man, I can't believe I got to go to an all-boys school. But looking back on it, we were so laser focused when we removed girls out of the equation. And I think it's the same thing even as adults.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that makes sense. Until you start bringing in all these what I identify as, and the people who like the men who like other men outwardly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
But
of
I
that
could,
either, though. So
but I could see where you would be way more productive and more focused.
yeah, absolutely. When we went to private school for those 2 years, and my father had to make that sacrifice in order for us to go. But when we went, we was on it. As a matter of fact, I would say that was probably the real turning point of my life. My turning point of my life wasn't anything that happened when I was adult. It was that. It changed my mindset towards the culture. It changed my mindset towards what was valuable and what wasn't. I switched looking at things from, right was wrong and wrong was right. Like the class clown wasn't cool in that environment when everybody was trying to focus and study. I developed speed reading habits. I learned how to communicate more effectively. I learned how to take notes because I was focused on not impressing girls, but actually getting good grades because everybody was really trying to really win and excel. The conversations changed from, you know what I'm saying, what rap was popping at the time to what you guys doing after school and what your portfolio looked like. Your focus, if I was in charge, even of like something that like the Department of Education or something like that, that would be the first thing that I do is I would segregate boys and girls, and I would have guys go to a school and I would have girls go to a school. I wouldn't have co-ed schools anymore. I would go back to the original ways in which guys were separated and girls were separated. I don't even know why we got co-ed schools now, but I was separated 100%.
Yeah, I think that works because, like I said, you want everything to function like a machine, a well-oiled machine. Now, once you start adding those small cogs in there, called women,
Yeah.
that's when
Do you guys think that we should separate girls and guys in schools?
Say that again.
Do you guys think that we should separate? And that's just my opinion in particular. Do you guys think that we should separate boys and girls in school?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the pros would outweigh the cons of that. So
What's the cons, Carrie? What do you think the cons would be?
I don't know, maybe like just I don't know, like just the interaction with the opposite sex. Like the cons would probably be very, very shallow. In fact, isn't there a school? Is it in it? Is it outside of Atlanta? I thought there was a school where they were doing that. It was an all boys school, and they were able to show. Um, damn, I gotta look it up. I thought they were able to kind of have a position on how effective it was having all boys in that school as it related to their grades, to the stuff, the progression of the boys that were there. I gotta look that up. But to your point, keeping the focus in at that age when they're in puberty, peer pressure is at an all-time high, the distractions during those developmental years. I definitely think that the pro of being in a place where one, you are able to be focused, but I would also think that you're heavily nurtured in like a all boy situation, all girl situation. That's my assumption. I could be wrong. But I think that you could probably nurture the overall population of the school differently if it's all boys, all girls.
Okay. Anything else on this? Just a quick icebreaker.
I agree. And then I think it would prevent us from having a climate where girls have to compete with boys in every aspect of life, like how we see with a lot of these co-ed schools. They have to compete with boys for the top grades, for this, for that. And now nobody knows the difference between a boy and a girl anymore. So I think it
Do
would
y'all
benefit
think that it would
society.
actually shift Black culture or American culture in a positive way if we separated it long, like, that was just the way that it was in schools in general? Do y'all think that would fix a lot of the problems that we say that we have within the culture?
I think so. And it could make girls like Carrie said, girls could get nurtured on the things that we're better at. And then boys could kind of get, you know, they could get that same nurturing with things that they're better at. Because it's
Hmm.
it's a difference. It's a biological difference. And now they trying to put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
Yeah. I think that we would get back to separation between masculinity and femininity if we had that. Like we would have coaches, we would have, because when you talk about, you know, it was all male teachers. You know what I'm saying? The only time that we seen women inside of the school was in an administrative role. They were the secretaries. They were the ones that called your parents if you was late, all of that type of stuff. But we didn't really experience women being in middle school. We didn't experience women playing roles inside of the school. It was all men. We went to religion that was taught by, you know what I'm saying, a man. All our coaches, it wasn't no diversity, equity, and inclusion. The principal, he was a really strong, like guys, hey, y'all gonna get it together and all of that stuff. And so, that's just the way that it was. You could not come in without a belt on. You couldn't come in with your shirt untucked. You had to have slacks. You had to have a collar, and you had to wear a tie. And if you did not have a tie or you forgot your tie at home, you had to go to the office and go and get one out of the office, and the ladies would get you one. So it was just different. It was way, and it's so funny because once I went back to in high school in ninth grade, so I went back to public school, co-ed school, and that shit, it was a shit show, bro. Like it was just like, yeah, this is different. Motherfuckers just immediately start competing. People start dirty macking, niggas was getting into fights over women and junk, and it was like, I knew it. I noticed as a kid, I noticed immediately that it was a change in behavior just because you introduced women into the conversation.
I
So,
definitely think that it would be more impactful at the lower level than say college. Like that to me, if that were to be a thing, it would need to happen while they're in elementary, middle school, um, high school level. Then you go to public school and then you go to an all girl college or all boy college.
Yeah.
I don't think it will have the same impact.
Yep. All right, that's cool. Well, thank y'all for contributing into that conversation.